All right, how's everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for tuning into the Rich CELENZA Show. WTF are you talking about? So what I'm going to call today's podcast is, if you're a grown-ass man still getting bullied, it may be time to change your identity. Not sure if I'm going to be able to fit that long title into my podcast when I describe it or put a title on it. But I'm here to tell you, I'm going to most likely maybe get some bad feedback regarding this. I hope I don't, because I'm trying to be as honest as possible when I do these things. And if you know anything about me, I teach a Mastering Self-Confidence program. It's actually to help men find the woman or women of their dreams, even if they've been through a bad breakup or divorce. And I get into identity a lot in there, where a lot of men, younger men, whatever, they have a problem with their identity, or they don't like what they become, or they just want to change it, right? And that's very hard to do. But when it comes to getting bullied, and I'm not going to sit here and go through all the different types of, bullying that's out there for men and women, all different ages, cyberbullying, all these different types of things. I'm not going to get into that. Everybody leads their own life, and if you're getting bullied, that's horrific. The last thing I want anybody to do is get bullied. When I was younger, though, I'll tell you the truth, sometimes I'm not going to say I was a bully, but I didn't want to take shit, and I was always the smallest, like the runt of the group, even within my own family, within my own friends, all the sports teams. So I'm not going to say I bullied people, but I definitely didn't take shit. And I had certain expectations, especially when playing sports, that somebody better pull their own weight. And if they didn't, I'd get in their face. I also think, when I was collecting money throughout my life, and I want to do a podcast on that, how to actually collect money correctly without having problems, now that I think about that. And that goes for collecting money inside for bars, because I collected money for most of my life in bars, nightclubs, gentlemen's clubs, restaurants, things in that nature. And then I also collected money for gambling. And a lot of people think it's all this shit where you go in, you threaten them, all these different types of things, which sure, that may or may not work, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you run your business right, especially a booking, operation, gambling, you don't let people get in too deep, and usually you are always able to work it out. The last thing you want to do is have somebody get in too deep or too much debt to you. They owe you a lot of money, then you're chasing them like an asshole. That's on you. But I'm going to tell you, for the most part, a lot of the movies and shit glamorize that. But what you want are people that gamble consistently, that just lose a little bit consistently every month or every week, and that they can afford it. You don't want to wipe them out, right? Just anyways, I don't need to get into that. But that's another podcast I do want to do. But I will say there are ways of bullying people without actually even verbally saying something. It could just be looking at them a certain way, right? If you've been bullied, you'd probably know what I'm talking about. Or just stepping up to somebody and them just feeling, your presence. And I think a lot of us, I think a lot of teachers, for instance, have to have that presence in a classroom to demand respect. I think a lot of coaches, right, trainers, it's not that they're bullying, but they have to discipline, or they need to know that they're not there to be pushed around, especially if you're dealing with a lot, like my buddies who's a trainer at a boxing gym, who owns his own gym, and all these different type of environments that I was in that were very physical. You got to stand your own. But I'm here to tell you, if you are getting bullied, again, you're a man now. I'm not talking children. Children's a whole different type of thing. I can't even, I'm not here to give advice on that. I'm not a counselor, psychiatrist, any of that. But I am going to give my 2 cents regarding if you're a man still getting bullied, if people are still making fun of you. And this is for the average Joe now. I'm not talking about people that have mental illness, that have certain things that, I don't know what they are. Their physical presence is, people are going to bully other people, make fun of them. That's just, it's disgusting, but that's society. Okay, people are going to mock people. They do it even online constantly. And I even laugh at certain things that, you see certain memes, and it's interesting how we hate bullying, but we're kind of laughing a lot of times at things where it's kind of making fun of others. And I think we all fall victim of that, or at least most people I know, and we don't even realize that. And we, especially when it comes to political figures lately, all the funny, again, pictures out there and things they're doing, it's funny, but if you look at it, I'm not saying they're getting bullied, but they are kind of being shamed. So that's kind of that's just the way it goes. But again, if you're a grown-ass man, just an average Joe, and people are still kind of making fun of you, either in front of you, behind your back, if you're just not getting respect, right? I'm going to tell you, a lot of it's on you, and you may not want to hear that. You want to sometimes blame society, and society a lot of times sucks, like I just said. But if you do come off in the United States or North America like a pussy, a lot of people are going to treat you like a pussy, men and women. Okay, I'm just telling you. And if you have a problem with that, I get it. Then stay away from people. But if you want to change that, just by making some small tweaks, okay, is going to go a long way. One of them is just by the way you stand. I'm going to tell you right now. I see this with a lot of younger people, especially teenagers in them. They kind of grew up playing video games, and they grew up looking at their phone, and their back is arched. And the way they kind of the way they stand is slouching. They just look like you can almost slap them and knock them over. They have no foundation. They don't have a presence. And again, I'm not asking you to stand up straight, puff your chest out, and look like you could kick everybody's ass. But I would tell you that's better than you slouched over with your neck down, looking up like a scaredy cat. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that. Especially if you live in a major city or if you travel, you have to start realizing that your presence is everything. All right? I don't care where you go or what you do. Your presence, again, and I see, I could get robbed tomorrow. I was very fortunate my whole life I didn't get robbed. My father was robbed a bunch of times. My closest friend was robbed. And I don't know why. Maybe it was just because I was maybe bigger. I looked bigger. I looked stronger. Maybe my presence. And I travel so much. Now tomorrow, I mean, if someone pulls a gun out on you, I got no, you know what I mean? Or if there's 4 guys, what are you going to do? But I always had the presence. I think it started from when I was little, wanting to show everybody or feel like I was big and strong. I had to prove that to everybody. But as I got, bigger, I guess you could say, and older, I wanted a dominating appearance where if you're going to make a move on me, things are going to go down. If you see me most likely walking, even by the way I dress, or whatever, even my tone a lot of times, and I have a high-pitched voice off and on, I get funny with it sometimes, but the truth is, even not only by my appearance, my posture, but the tone coming out of my mouth, I could turn it real quick. I could become very friendly, or I could get very deep. And I think a lot of people, again, that are getting bullied, that are grown-ass men, pay attention to your voice. I talk about that in my Mastering Self-Confidence program a lot. Is your tone coming out of you is huge. Now, you know that because you probably have friends, men and women, when they talk, some comes out funny, some comes out strong, some sound real deep, some are real high. We all get that. But if you want to start getting a little more respect, start controlling your voice a little bit. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and be Lou Rawls or Barry White. But I am telling you, if you have a high-pitched voice, it's very nasally, or you sound annoying, you need to probably work on that. Especially if you're, a dude who's trying to attract women, and you can just tell when you start talking to them, become self-aware to say, what's the problem here? You can even ask women or your other friends, what do you think of my voice? I talk about it in my program. You should record yourself. Either on a voice memo, or you could videotape yourself talking, looking at yourself. I think people are afraid to videotape themselves because they're afraid to see what they truly appear to be, I guess you could say, or appear to look like. And when I made my first film, Sore Losers, and I've talked about this in my past, I played a guy who was collecting money, who was like the second-hand man to a mob boss. I wasn't supposed to play that role, but I played it because my friend became very religious. So I edited a movie with me in it for 2.5 hours, and I was shocked at my behavior. I look back at it now, but my God, when you edit yourself, you're like, wow, you walk like this, you talk like this, your head's like this, you do this, you talk crooked out of your mouth. I have, wow, look at your left eye, you got a lazy eye. My God, are you bald? Like, you just start you can't not critique the shit out of yourself. But I'm here to tell you, if you are again getting bullied, why is this? Are you sending this signal off to be, you know what I mean? And I don't care if you're gay, straight, whatever the hell you are, men or even a female. You're sending out a signal almost to a certain degree. Now, I know that's not the right, you don't want to think that way, like, hey, I'm not sending a signal off for guys that bully me. Well, I could assure you, if I took, like most military men, hypothetically, after a lot of them before they go into the military or boot camp, a lot of these kids get bullied. I know because I have a ton of family relatives that were like that. And then, as you could tell, they go through boot camp and they come out. I can assure you, most likely, you're not going to bully them. They almost transfer themselves into another human being. I'm not asking you to do that if you're having this issue. But I think you know a lot of times what I mean if you especially have friends or family members that went into the military. It's a transformation. It's drastic. It's extreme. I mean, they reprogram them, and God bless, our military. Best thing in the world for us. I don't know. I would never have anything bad to say about them. That's what they do. They're incredible at what they do. But you may have to start to think, if you're getting bullied, you may have to make a transformation. Do you have to go through boot camp? Of course not. But there are certain things that you can start doing, like I said, posture, tone, again, your body. I think a lot of guys I know that are weak or that have been bullied or scared, and I see them all the time. I talk to them. Again, family members, friends ask me about this stuff all the time. If you, again, have a physical presence, and it doesn't mean you have to be unbelievably jacked. I think people think I thought that too. I had to be 250 pounds, which I was 260, or I have to be 260, 300. When I walk down the sidewalk, everyone gets out of the way. I got to that point. I didn't need to get to that point. I'm just telling you. If you just get, again, some type of presence where you look strong. That doesn't mean super strong, a bodybuilder, power lifter. That's going to mean a lot. I can assure you. Again, you don't have to have 20-inch biceps. But if you have a strong foundation, again, with a strong posture, it's going to go very, very far. I can assure you. Just by getting a little fit. I just did a video on just by being in shape a little bit goes a long way. Not only your appearance, but also if you have friends, family members, again, colleagues that like to do physical activities and you're in a little, you're in shape a little bit, you can hang with them a little bit. You could go do certain things that maybe you never did before. So that is just something to think about, okay? And then the way you walk. I can't describe this enough, man. The way you walk a lot of times, I'm telling you right now, if I saw you, you may be a 4th degree black belt, or you may be the biggest puss in the world. I don't know. But usually, by someone's walk, you can always tell if they can hold their own a lot of times, or if there's someone to mess with. Now, there are a lot of guys out there that walk tough, act tough, that aren't tough. I'm not asking you to do that. What I'm just telling you to do is maybe by the way you're walking, have a presence where you are, again, looking where you're strong-minded and you have confidence in yourself. If you don't have confidence in yourself, nobody else is going to have it. So let's just throw that out there. Let me get some water. But I think you know what I'm talking about by a walk. You've seen guys walk. And you're like, Jesus, either they're a fast walker, slow walker, and that's the speed really doesn't matter. It's the way they walk and the way they're just their presence again is when they walk. Definitely pay attention to that. And I did a podcast not long ago, I think, regarding if you can learn how to take some type of self-defense. Again, you don't have to become a black belt. Again, you don't have to become, a taekwondo master, jiu-jitsu master. You don't have to, again, be a power lifter. Just, getting in some type of shape, but maybe learning, some type of self-defense. Even if you take a class locally on how to hold your own, you, again, don't have to, like I said, join a karate school or any type of school if you're not interested in doing that. But I would definitely recommend you learning self-defense And they have those, like I was just saying, you could take one or two or just a few courses. If you're not even comfortable doing that, maybe you have a friend or somebody that knows who could teach you independent, like maybe go to a boxing gym or something, or just learn in your house, not only how to work out, but maybe just get a punching bag or something, learn how to punch a little bit and hold your own. Because a lot of times the reason people bully other people is because they know they could crack them around, or they know they could scare them, or they could push them around. The minute the bully or somebody else knows that they can't do that to you, the game changes. Now, does that mean you could kick the bully's ass? Probably not necessarily. But I could assure you, most likely, if you do get in good shape and you do know how to defend yourself, it's a game changer real fast, especially when word gets out. So these are just kind of simple tactics. I don't want to go on and on. But these are just things I think that people just don't pay attention to. Now, again, if you don't mind getting bullied, or people talking shit about you, that's another thing. Do whatever you got to do. But if you really are sick of it, and you're sick of being treated like a piece of shit, you and you only are going to have to be the one that makes changes. Nobody else. I mean, unless you're a millionaire, and maybe unless you have bodyguards, or you're some prince and you have security, whatever. You may have that. That's good. But I doubt if you had all that, you'd be getting bullied. But I'm definitely here to tell you, you don't have to stand for that shit a lot of times. You are standing for it because, and I hate to say it, it's almost like you don't, if you're a man especially, I don't think you respect yourself enough not to make the change. You have to make the change. Now, again, it's easy for me to say because I don't know, what am I, an alpha male? I guess to a certain point I am. But here's the thing. I don't like to go outside. I'm not a hunter. I'm not, like I hated boxing, but I used to wrestle really well. There's a lot of things that I don't like to do either. But I still see myself as maybe somebody who's more in attack mode, I guess you could say. So I don't know what it is to maybe be on, the shoe on the other foot, where I just don't have that personality. I would be more, but I am pretty introverted, believe it or not. I'm very introverted or very extroverted. But if you're somebody out there, again, who just doesn't have the instincts to become somebody who wants to become more powerful, strong, maybe change your posture and all that, I could see that, because again, I do have family members and friends like that. No matter how much you talk to them or whatever, their disposition just is not of somebody with confidence, I guess you could say. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean saying that person doesn't have confidence in things they're doing. But maybe when it comes to their appearance, they just don't have that powerful, I guess you could say, presence, like I was just saying. But please pay attention. And I did a podcast not long ago where if, you can't look at protecting just yourself a lot of times. If you're weak, okay, I'm just telling you this, an average Joe out there, if you're weak, and even if you do get a girlfriend or wife or whatever, okay, I want you to know, you both, husband and wife, whatever, you got to learn how to protect not only yourself, but your family. Don't think that, someone is not going to come after you and your family. I mean, like, they could break in your house. Someone can make a move at anywhere, a bar. Someone can, anything can happen. So the more you're in control of yourself and having some type of power, and that where you can protect yourself and whoever you're with, the better off you're going to be. And a lot of people never think something's going to happen, and it does. Okay, I'm just telling you. And if you plan on having children, your children may get bullied, right? You do not want to stand for that shit. I mean, I don't know what type of person you are, but I would most likely think a lot of people don't want their children to be bullied like maybe they were. So, but it starts with you. If you show that, you're strong and you're confident, it's only going to install it inside your children as well. That goes for your family members, friends, everybody. You got to be there sometimes to protect them. So that's just my personal opinion on that. So anyways, I am going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you got something out of this. But please, if you're the average Joe out there and you're still getting bullied, I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, you can reach out to me. You can check my program out. And I'm not here to plug the program like you got to sign up for my program by any means. But I just think sometimes, though, people are getting bullied because they're lazy too. They don't want to make changes. Or you're hanging out with a lot of assholes too. But, because if you're getting, even at your job, if you're getting bullied at work, it's stuff that shit ain't supposed to be happening this day and age. So you may, but again, I get you don't want to run to HR and look like a bitch, because every time someone says something to you, then before you know it, nobody at work even wants to talk to you. So you got to be a little thick-skinned. But at the same time, if you kind of walk around as the puss, and here's the one last thing I'm going to wrap up. I think a lot of guys that do get bullied, men, not children, I think sometimes they get comfortable in that position because they get attention from it, I guess you could say, right? And any attention sometimes is better than no attention. I get that as well. But I'm here to tell you, if people are mocking you, making fun of you, or any of that stuff, you have to confront that person, okay? And if you're somebody too on the phone where some people are, or if you're in groups on the internet and they're attacking you, get off that group and go find other people. Those aren't your friends, I'm here to tell you. Even if you're in a relationship and they're constantly texting you negative stuff, block them. Get rid of them. You don't have to put up with shit. I'm telling you. As a grown man or woman, you have to realize you don't have to put up with anybody's bullshit. At work is one thing, but like I said, if people are treating you like shit there, then it may be time to find another job. But also, a lot of times I do see people, they don't like being made fun of or being bullied, but I also see them being an asshole to somebody else or bullying them. And I've discussed that before on my podcast. So if you are one of those people, I'm going to call you out on it right now. Don't play both roles, because I see that a lot of times with people. All right? So have respect for people is basically what I'm saying. And truly treat people as you want to be treated. That's another thing. Stop being wishy-washy to people. Okay? Because a lot of people, I think, have different dispositions, which we all do depending on who we're around. You're around your parents, or at least I am, I'm a different person than I'm around my good buddies. Same way I'm a different disposition, truthfully, around my girlfriend than I am with my mother, hypothetically. I talk differently, I act differently. I think we all do to a certain point. At the workplace, sure, we act differently. But there is a fine line when it's kind of ridiculous and where you're all over the place, where you truly don't even know what your identity is. One minute you're a pussy, and then the next minute you think you're tough, then the next minute you're, emotionally you're all over the place. Try to find some type of identity where you're in a lot more control, and people know you for who you are, and they know that you could stand up for yourself. I mean, if you don't stand up for yourself, I can't expect anybody else to do that for me or for you, or for that matter. All right, if you want to check out my YouTube channel, I've been putting up a lot of videos regarding fitness, different places I travel to all over North America, my favorite restaurants, smoothie places, coffee houses, and sometimes even do videos with my girlfriend. She's hilarious. We go to different restaurants, even including Amish places. She's a Filipino, so it's kind of just funny to see her take photos or eat in these places. What am I on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram? And my Mastering Self-Confidence program is masteringselfconfidence.com. And most of my material, it's online. The program is a much higher level, more intense type thing. But I want to help people either way. If you have any questions, hit me up. And if you got a beef with me, hit me up. Or if you agree with me, you can hit me up as well. I could, it is what it is. That's just how I feel. So hopefully I didn't offend anybody. And I just want the best for you. And I just want people to... I talk about this at fitness, but I'm going to talk about this very quickly in identity. You are so much stronger than you know you are. Or did I say that correctly? You're a lot stronger, I'm going to tell you right now, than you've ever dreamt. You've just never developed the skills, physically, mentally as well. I talk about that in the gym all the time. People think like when they see people that are really fit, like that just happened in a month or 2 or 6 months. For the most part, it took years or even decades to get a certain type of body or to get in a certain type of shape. But they worked at it and they developed it. The same with you if you're being bullied and you want to start building a strong foundation, all those type of things. It's going to take time. It's not like you wake up the next day and all of a sudden you're a badass or you're sometimes it can happen very quickly for some people. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of times it's going to take time. It's just like a muscle. It's going to take time to grow and become stronger and stronger. And that's what you can do for yourself. I'm telling you, it takes time. Don't quit on yourself. All right? All right. Take care. If you're traveling, safe travels.